Russell Brunson is making me change the name of my podcast. Dan Henry is super smart, and the 5-day challenge numbers are in. And yes, it absolutely crushed. We're going to cover all that and more on today's episode of the show. Welcome back, everyone, to, well, what is now called the Game of Influence. But, you know, Russell Brunson kind of ruined all of that for me, and in a good way. I joined Russell's inner circle, paid him $50,000 to go hang out with him and be cool for once. And had some crazy takeaways. And in today's episode, I want to do a couple different things. First, we're going to recap the 5-day challenge. We just did the Podcast to Profits challenge. I want to share the numbers with you. I want to share what worked, what didn't, and really kind of give just a recap of that. And I think that'll be really helpful for everyone listening. And then secondly, I want to go and talk about my takeaways from Inner Circle and really just being around Russell and everyone there and kind of, what I learned from that, spending 2 days in a $50,000 mastermind, and then really paint the vision of what's coming for, what I'm learning and what we're doing moving forward through the end of this year. And hopefully you can take some of it and apply it to your own life and your business. And my hope is that you'll understand and be able to really set yourself up for success over the next 28 to 35 days, through the rest of this year and going into 2024. Let me start with this. I believe right now that I have entered into this season, and I say we, anyone involved kind of in my life, the business, my clients and stuff, we've entered this season of speed and rapid adjustment, right? Like we've entered this season where it's go time. Right. I think for the last 7 or 8 months, maybe even 9 months or so, I've been in this season of getting clear, of building confidence and certainty, understanding who I am, where we're going, what we're building, and studying. And now it's like, how like you can plan all you want, you can get as clear as you want to get, and really think you know where you're going. But then when you hit the gas on something, when you actually go, life hits you, reality hits you, and there's going to be adjustments, right? And the real world, when you're actually executing, is different than what you plan for. And so you have this plan, you go, and then once you get going, like the faster you go, the faster you have to adjust, right? So that's where we're at, right? We've entered in, we're all in, obviously, with the podcast stuff and what we're doing, getting clients. But there's adjustments, right? And they're really good, and it's really, really exciting. And I think as I begin this, and we're gonna go into the challenge numbers here, what happened on the 5-day challenge, the results of that. But I think one of the things that has become very obvious to me as I have sat down with, over a dozen now people from the challenge that applied and really just gone all in with, we had a really, really good launch, and we got a lot of really good feedback back. And I got feedback back from Russell. And over the last, I'd say 60 to 90 days, I think one of the things that has become very evident has been the importance of knowing and understanding your model and what model you're going to follow so that you have certainty and clarity of where you're going and how you're going to get there. But then as you get feedback and data, you can adjust and tweak in real time, and you can make decisions quickly because you know the model that you're going down and you know what things can't change, and then you have freedom to go and change everything else, right? And so, that's kind of where we're at. And I hope that, by me sharing all this stuff publicly, you can learn and apply and avoid some of the mistakes and hopefully, garnish some of and take away some of the wins and things that actually worked. So, to recap, we just did a 5-day challenge, and this was a 5-day challenge that I paid Dan Henry $100,000 to help me figure out exactly what we were doing with the podcast and the Golden Mic Method and Golden Mic Mastery and really where we were going. And we promoted this pretty hard. We had, this is funny, I ran ads for the first time thinking, okay, cool, I'm going to finally run ads and we'll get some traffic in there. I got banned in a week because Facebook hates me and I don't know how to run ads and I don't do ads. So we're still trying to figure that out. But we had over 124 or 126, I think, people inside of the challenge. About half of them were VIP, about half of them were general admission. And we spent 5 days diving deep into the model of the Golden Mic Mastery, right? The Golden Mic Method, and really how to go get clients from a podcast. And I taught this model and we went super, super deep. And one of the interesting things was, Dan Henry told me, he said, Josh, don't overcomplicate things. He said, when it comes to selling stuff to people and when it comes to helping people, understand that people only buy three things. Nobody cares about a podcast. Nobody cares about webinars. Nobody cares about your system. Nobody cares about any of that. And I was like, yes, they do, Dan, right? People want a podcast. Like, they see what I built with the podcast and blah, 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 blah. He's like, no, Josh, nobody cares. I've made $30 million. Do you want to know what people actually buy? And I'm like, yes, I would like to know that. And he goes, Josh, understand, people buy three things. Number one, they want to make more money, they want to have more sex, or they want to look hot. That's it. And like, it's funny to say, like, we can laugh about that, right? And it is, but like, what I noticed as I went through this challenge was he's absolutely right? People want to make more money, they want to have more sex or connection, right? Or they want to look hot / be healthy, right? They want to be healthy and look that way, right? And I kind of like thought for, a long time, like, oh, people want a certain model, they want to do a podcast, or they want to build a business this way. And it's like, but at the end of the day, why do they want that? It's because they only want one of those three things. And I conceptually believed Dan, but when I got on the challenge for the first day, we had 125 or 6 people, whatever it was. I get on there, we're in the VIP room, and I did a poll. And I said, what is the number one thing that you're after right now? Do you care about getting, followers and exposure? Do you care about making money and getting clients? Do you care about, I kind of listed out some things. And 100% of the people on that challenge, 100% of them said their number one priority was making money and getting clients. And it became evident to me that, in this business, in this game that we're in, if we understand what it is that we're actually selling, what it is that we're actually doing for people, the game becomes very simple and very clear, because now we don't have to worry about all the complicated stuff. We don't have to worry about the things that we think are important. We just have to understand, hey, our job is simply to help our client do one of those three things, right? Either make more money, have more sex and connection, or, look hotter, be healthier, right? That's it. That's all they're after and all they want. And so we went through the challenge, and it was awesome. Like, this was by far the best 5-day challenge that I have ever done, the best training I've ever done for teaching something for the first time, right? We had, like I said, 120 something people. We had 19 applications come through with a $1,000 deposit for our program, which was just fantastic. And really what it did was it gave me clarity on my model going forward and who it really is that I'm serving moving forward. The quality of applications that we got, the people that we brought into the program, and shout out to all of the new clients that came into Golden Mike Mastery. We are going to absolutely crush it. We had a couple of people already signed clients. We haven't even started the program yet, but I did some onboarding calls and we've been going back and forth on Messenger. And like, I've had people that joined the program that we haven't even started the program fully, and they've already signed clients for more money than they've ever sold before. One guy sold for $7,500 with a $4,000 a month retainer. Somebody else sold a $15,000 client. And like, we're going to crush. And so I want to welcome all of you in, but the quality of people that we have inside of the program and the clarity that we have moving forward, because of how simple this model actually is, is insane, because it solves the number one problem that entrepreneurs have. Like, the number one problem, period, end of story, that I hear. Like, the number one thing that people struggle with is lack of leads, right? Not being able to get in front of their ideal client, not being able to get in front of the people that, are afford to pay their prices for high ticket of $15 or $25 or $50 or $100,000. And this model not only solves that, it allows you to do it without marketing. It allows you to do it without ads. It allows you to do it without, complicated email sequences or any of that. And it allows you to do it in such a way that allows you to be powerful and tap into what you do best. And so I'm very excited about that. And I'm very excited about the direction that we're going. But in that, remember I said, like, we're in this season of speed. We're in this, season of like rapid feedback and adjustment, right? I realized in going through my own model, in actually going through and teaching it, because, you teach something, and when you're forced to actually go and teach it and sit down and like dive deep for 5 days, you get a lot more clear on your own stuff. You're like, whoa, I actually am smart. Oh, wow, that's where that goes. And right. So as I got done with the 5-day challenge, I looked at, who's coming in and who is applying and who we're going to be working with and like how we do things and where this fits into where I'm going and what we're trying to build. And then the challenge ended on Friday. I took a bunch of sales calls over the weekend. And then on Monday, I flew out to Inner Circle with Russell Brunson and spent, 2 days there with Russell at Inner Circle and, the 100 other people that paid Russell $50,000. Everybody in the room had made over $1 million inside of the business for the 2 Comma Club. And as I sat there, I was like, okay, I got to get feedback back. I don't want overwhelm. I just want clarity on some things. And so we had this amazing 5-day challenge, and I wrote down some of the things that I wanted to adjust and tweak, because I'm fully committed to Golden Mike Mastery, which is the name of our program, right? I am fully committed to helping entrepreneurs that are coaches, consultants, and honestly, service providers are some of my favorite people to work with. So service providers, coaches, and consultants, people that work in the digital space, like just absolutely crush it and build powerful brands that bring in high ticket clients. And when I say high ticket, I mean like $15,000 is the low end and $100,000 or $200,000 is the high end, right? Like that's the type of clientele I want to be working with. And that's the type of clientele that my clients work with now, right? And that's what we're showing them how to do. And so I'm like, I need some clarity on some things. There's a couple of pieces here where I wasn't really sure, like, okay, how do we do this here? And like, I needed some feedback. And so this is the reason I joined Inner Circle. And so I'm there, there's 100 people in the room or whatever it was. And on the second day, on Tuesday I was able to go up and talk to Russell. And I was like, hey dude, like, how's it going? And so we chatted for a little bit and I asked him for some feedback on some things. And I was like, this is what I'm trying to do. This is where I'm trying to go. This is what we're trying to do with the podcast and with the program and with your feedback. And I'm not going to share all the details of what he said because I want to get super clear on things before we kind of announce what's next. But one of the things that Russell said to me was he said, Josh, like if you want to go to the next level, then you have to start talking to the next level and you have to start becoming and acting like the person at the next level. And he basically told me without saying it directly, like, you need to change the name of your podcast. And I was like, but I love the name of the podcast. And it's cool. Like, this is what it came up with. And I like it. But like deep down in my heart, as soon as he said it, I was like, oh, you're right. And so in this, I'm like, okay, this is one of those things where in getting feedback, remember when I said like the model is important? Like I know my model. Right? And I know that a podcast is at the center of everything that I do. Having this show, having this interview style, talk show podcast where we're interviewing, high level people and clients and getting to know people and like networking and building this powerful brand, like that sits at the center and there's a path. And when Russell said what he said, not only did I know that he was right, but I realized that it didn't change my model, but the way that I was executing my model and the framing that I was using and the wording that I was using wasn't 100% spot on. And it was a little bit too narrow for me based on where I was wanting to go. Because like I have a vision for podcasts. I have a vision to revolutionize the way that podcasting is done specifically for entrepreneurs. Right? I have a vision to say, listen, entrepreneurs have tried to apply the mainstream model of podcasting to entrepreneurship and they're wondering why it's not working. And it's like, because you're applying something that wasn't designed for entrepreneurs and you're applying it to the podcasting space. And the Golden Mike method is a revolutionary approach to that. The Golden Mike method says, hey, listen, it's not about the listeners. It's about the people you interview, right? That's where the opportunity lies. And so as I went through and I was talking with Russell and getting feedback on this, and I also talked to Brad Gibb as well, I realized that like, yes, I was in this mastermind and I paid all this money to be there and networking was great and the information was great. But like, it's that level of certainty to be able to talk to someone like Russell or Brad and like explain to them, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's what's working. Here's the feedback we got back from the show. Here's what we got this. What would you do here? And for them to look at it and go, think about this, do this. And then having the confidence and the certainty to say, listen, I trust my model and I trust my mentor. And if I'm going to trust my model and my mentor, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to listen to what my mentor says as long as it doesn't contradict with the model that where I'm going. And so basically like, we're going to be changing the name of the podcast, which is crazy because we just came out with it, but we're going to be doing a launch at the beginning of the year. And it's cool to be able to document my journey and what we're doing with the show and be very intentional about it because there was a quote one time or someone said this to me. They said, having a radically open mind and being radically confident, like, is being absolutely certain, 100% certain in what you believe and where you're going. And also at the exact same time, being willing to instantly change your mind on where things are happening if you are presented with new evidence on a belief. And so like when I started this podcast back up and when we launched out, like I knew where I was going long term and I had my plan. And I said, this is the plan. Here's where we're going. Boom. And I was completely certain of that. And I shared that vision and I documented all those. Those were the in-between episodes. And now, like, I've got new data and new feedback back from the 5-day challenge. And it was awesome, right? And then I got data and feedback back from Russell and from Brad. And it was awesome. And I'm like, okay, based on this new information, I'm still going here. But now I've got to change things and I've got to adjust. And so my hope, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is to say, like, I hope you look at this and you go, hey, if you know your model and you know where you're going, like, just trust your gut, make decisions quickly and go. Because guess what? We made hundreds of thousands of dollars on our last launch. And that wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have launched the show again and been like, cool, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. And then we made hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now that all came in and we go, cool, now we have new data and new feedback back. And now I'm going to tweak and adjust and course correct and go, okay, now that's where we're going. And then we have a target there. And then it was inner circle. And then it's feedback. And then it's like, you have a vision, you make a decision, you trust your gut, you execute. And then when you get feedback back, you change course and change plans or adjust plans according to new data and feedback. And my hope is that you trust your gut, that you execute, that you take action, and that you understand that no matter how certain your plans are, no matter how clear you think you get, once you start executing, you're gonna get feedback back, and it's going to cause you to have to course correct and adjust, and you can still be in alignment with where you're wanting to go and make changes along the way. So I'm very, very excited for the new year. As you guys probably know, I'm having a daughter here soon. My wife's about to give birth in the next couple of weeks. And so, like, the rest of this year is going to be just head down, building out Golden Mike Mastery, working with our clients to go crush it with these high ticket clients, building, powerful brands and powerful high ticket offers, getting set up for our big launch in Q1. And then, like, Q1, we're going to take over the world. And it's not just me. It's my clients. It's the people inside the program. It's the people that I've surrounded myself with and that we brought in this program that we're serving. Like, we're building this army. We're building this movement of people that are confident, that are certain, that know who they are, that know their products, that know the problem that they solve for people, that charge $15 or $25 or $50 or $100,000, and, like, they're ready to go. And, like, that certainty and that confidence and that building of that movement, I feel like for the first time in months and maybe even years, I'm not doing this alone. And I'm doing it with people that also have a vision and also want to change the world and also want to get paid for it. And they're course correcting, right? I've given them new data and them feedback on their stuff. And they have a vision. They go, cool, I was doing this, but now I know this model. And here we go. We're going to follow this. And this is where we're going. And so I know I'm rambling at this point, but I just wanted to, like, document that all out and share all that to say, okay, podcasts are amazing. And, like, the Golden Mike method is the answer. Like, it is so crazy how powerful this is. And, like, there was a message that I got from one of the guys that came in. He was one of the guys that closed a high ticket deal. And he said, honestly, your challenge was genius. Today it was already worth the price. And then he said, where was it here? Yeah, the Golden Mike method is just magical. And it is. It's magical not because it, a podcast or what we do is, something special. It's because it just follows principles of psychology and aligns those with how we can be powerful and build powerful relationships and turn those relationships into dollars and build our brand and serve others, and allows us to have complete certainty and confidence with also the freedom to adjust and tweak along the way. And so I'm very, very excited for 2024. I don't think anyone knows what's coming. And the vision that I've painted for the people in the group, like, it's got them excited, it's got me excited. And I'm incredibly grateful for people like Brad Gibb and for like Russell Brunson and like Dan Henry, because these people are very smart. And my final thought on this would be this. If you go to someone like that, like a Russell or a Brad or a Dan, and you come to them without a model, if you come to them in confusion and you come to them uncertain, they're not going to be able to help you very much, because they deal with powerful people. They deal with people that know where they're going and just need help getting there. But when you can show up to those people, Dan, Brad, Russell, and like come with a powerful model and say, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm trying to achieve, this is what I'm trying to execute, what's your feedback on this? They can give you such powerful answers and they can change your life so rapidly. But you yourself first have to be certain where you're going and what you're doing. Because beforehand, when I would get feedback, I would look at my model and be like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm doing everything wrong. And I would get feedback from them like, oh, maybe I should be doing that. And it was just like defeating. I'm sure you've been there, right? You think you're going someplace, and then you get feedback from a mentor and you're like, oh, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing, right? But once you have certainty in your model, and once you have certainty and clarity on where you're going, and then you go get feedback from these powerful people, like it's an accelerant. Because now when you hear their feedback, it's not, oh, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. It's, they just gave me something that can shortcut the amount of time it's going to take me to get to the success that I want. So strap in, buckle up. We've got an exciting Q1 coming. The month of November and the month of December are going to be a lot of documentation. We're going to drop interviews on, we'll try to do interviews once a week. We might miss one here or there with my baby, being born, our daughter, my wife and I, which we're so excited about. So excited. We'll have to reveal. I'll let you know when she's born. But just like, this is the season of change. This is the season of rapid adjustment, rapid feedback. And like Q1 is going to be insane. So to end, I will say this. If you don't have a model, if you don't know the path that you're going to go down, the model of how you're going to get to success, do nothing else for the rest of 2023 except study and figure out which model you're going to use moving forward. Because you will sit in chaos and uncertainty until you have a model that you believe in. If you want to get the replays to the 5-day challenge, you can email in my team and I can share with you our model. But do nothing else except for study that model. And if you have a model and you're certain of the model, then for the rest of 2023, and as you're getting ready for 2024, don't waste it. And rapidly adjust. Take massive action to go get clear, to set yourself up for speed and for acceleration in 2024 and beyond. Because you know that most people right now, we're going into, we're getting ready to come into December. The holidays are coming. Most people are going to take their foot off the gas. Most people are going to be like, I'll pick it up in 2024. And it's like, no, you can go and you can create massive amount of success for 2024 now if you just make the adjustments and you do the research and you ask the questions and you're not afraid to say, you know what, I thought I was going this way, but now I have new data. Let me pivot and adjust and go. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Happy Monday. And I'm excited for the future moving forward. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you're listening on audio, make sure to subscribe and leave a rating and a review. If you're watching on YouTube, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, a like down below. And if there's any way we can help, let us know. Thank you so much for listening. As always, hustle, God bless. Do not be afraid to go and make lots of money and build lots of influence. Just make sure you use that money and influence for good. I love you all. And that's all for today. See you next time. Peace.